What's up, everybody? In this video, this live stream, we're going to see if it's possible to source $100 in profit on eBay and Amazon to flip back onto Amazon FBA. So let's see if that's actually possible, and let's get into it. All right, let me go and share my screen here. And let's do the entire window like that. There we go. Not like that. Like this. Let's go. Move that over there. This. Let's go. All right. And let's go here. Should be able to see my screen now. All right, let's go over first to Flipmine. So we're gonna see if we can source $100 in profit. Let's see if we can do that in an hour, which would be 6:30 a.m. PST to 7:30 a.m. Got a little bit of a slow start because we're starting at 6:32, but that's okay. Why is it keepa deals? There we go. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is start over here on Flipmine. All right, here we go. So the first thing we do is start over here on Flipmine. And again, we're trying to source $100 profit in an hour. So potential profit, we'll say that, because we never know. So I'm going to go a little bit fast on the sourcing here, because I'm going to go ahead and see if we can snag some pretty good deals here. But obviously, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And thanks everyone for being here. This looks interesting to me. Let's see. Ooh, Oracle cards, good condition. That looks interesting to me. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Anything popping up on Flipmine this hour? Let's see. That one looks okay. Keep going. Ooh, these lab manuals could potentially be good. This looks potentially good. All right. So I'm going ahead and opening up a whole bunch of listings here to see if anything's possible. Let's see what we got here. Good morning. Thanks for your teaching and training up on my first book. I was tracking. Let's go. That's so awesome to hear, Glenn. I appreciate it. Glad that you're finding success. What's up, Eric? Happy teacher weekend. I know, man. It's good to it's always good to have the weekend. Let's go ahead and see. So 149 for this book. Let's go ahead and take a look over here on Amazon. $300. That is pretty crazy. Okay, so this book from first glance to me looks a little bit undervalued. It's the second edition by okay, second edition. This looks like the same cover art to me. This came out in 2017. Usually if there's a new edition, it'd be posted there. So I mean, what do we think we could sell this for? Right now you'd have to spend 150 plus $10. You'd be spending like 160. So you'd have to spend up on this book for sure. What do you think you could sell for? Probably 350 is going to be too much. The buy box is 318. Kind of looking at what that lowest new price has been. So the lowest new price has been as low as 214, which is a little scary, because if someone comes in at that low price at 214 and they stay there for a long time, it's going to be way harder for us to sell a used book for more money than that. So, you know, obviously the more money you play with, the more risk there's involved. But currently, if the market were to stay where it's at, I mean, some of these sales have been pretty crazy. You could probably go up to like 275. So if you were to sell this for 275, you'd be a little bit, I mean, you make a $57 profit. So that's possible if someone wants to spend more money on this book. Now, last 2,400 days, it has been lower than that in the past. And like I said, it is quite risky. So I think I'm probably going to pass on this, because usually when you invest more capital, it's just easier for you to, I don't know, easier for you to lose money, or, you know, just because the investment is greater. All right, this one looks pretty decent. Devastation of ball. So this is $40 plus $4 shipping. And keep on this actually looks pretty solid. Notice that there are periods of time where it drops down really low. So this is exactly the kind of book you'd want to track. And so it looks like this book has gone down to about $20 multiple times in the past. So I'm going to go and track this for $21. And when did this come out? This came in 2017. I'll track it for 3 years. That's fine. And let's go and start tracking it. Let's see. This has been selling for $60 to $70. If we click on these little purple buttons, we can see if any of those prime sellers actually moved their copy, which means that they sold it. Like, for example, you can see this guy right here. He actually moved his copy at $64.59. So like, you could play around, see like if that's what I would sell the book at and had to pay $44.35, would you make money? Obviously not very much. Make $1.48. This also moved at $68, and then it also has moved for a little bit lower. So let's kind of expand the data. Clearly this was something that was very cheap when Amazon was selling it way back when, and then they since went out of stock. Obviously, the price has skyrocketed. Now, you also notice that the sales rank isn't as great though, because not many people are wanting to pay well over retail price for this. But what I will say is this is something that I would 100% send an offer on. I would say I'd probably feel really comfortable sending an offer for 20 bucks on this book, which is about half of what he wants, and I'd be all in for 24.35. And I think I would try to sell for right around 65 bucks, and I think it has sold for more than that. So not sure if he's going to accept that offer, but let's go ahead and just send it anyway. So he might auto deny it, and if he does, it's all right. We'll go ahead and move on. I'm trying to find $100 in profit. So he actually decided to at least listen to the offer, so that's pretty cool. Okay, what is this? This is a Mystic Art Medicine Oracle cards. And if we go over here, it looks like we have those cards as well. So the thing here is we're going to need to make sure everything's there. But first, let's look at keepa to see if it's even worth it. They're asking basically like $56 if we want to buy it. Yeah, this keepa graph doesn't look too great to me. Looks like it has a little bit of value, right around maybe 30 or 40 bucks, but I'm going to move on. So we got $50 here for these study guides. And for me, this is not going to be good enough. I can't even send an offer on this because this is a big bookseller, but I probably would want to be right around like 20 to 25 bucks on that book. So that's too expensive for me. And Worlds of Book again at 52. The lowest used price in Amazon is right around 50 to 60. So if I pick it up for 50 on eBay, I'm not really buying it undervalued. Again, because this is generally selling for the $60 range, I'd probably want to pick it up for like 20 to 25. So that's what I would say there. Let's see, we got another comment coming in. Good morning. Good to see you, and thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it. Let's just keep going. Anything else here and anything else here on Flipmine before we keep going on? And $4. Okay, what I'm gonna do is also look at. No, it's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and open up this $25 filter on eBay as well. Hey, Logan, what's up, man? Good to see you here. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it, man. I keep getting notified at school, Logan, when you go live on Instagram. Well, I guess I'm not on my phone at school, like in between breaks, like I pop up Instagram, I see you're live, but I can't join because it's during school, man. It's during school hours. So 46 bucks for this book. This actually looks like, okay. I thought this might be okay. Look, there were about 4 sales back in June and July. So when the sales rank was dropping and the lowest used price was over 100 bucks, that means this book was moving for over $100. But then look at this massive repricing war where the price of this book came down. And the reason for that is you had this huge increase in used offer spike, or used offer count. So obviously, as more sellers come on the listing, you'd expect the price of that thing to go down. And then the reverse actually happened. Now people started buying it out because it was actually really cheap. And you see the used offer count start diving down, and now you can see the price go back up. So this is an ideal book for you to track, because in the past you've seen many instances of this going really, really cheap and then rebounding to a price that actually is pretty significant. Like this point in time would have been a great time to buy it. If you could have picked it up for like $9 or so, and then maybe you could have flipped it for, I don't know, 30 bucks. I mean, you would make money there. So this is something I'm gonna track for sure. And good to see you, Logan, man. 70 viewers and 4 likes. Guys, smash that like button. I appreciate it, Logan. Hey, Rosemary, good to see you. You made it. Whew. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. You sure did make it. All right, let's keep going. So you can buy this book right now for 46. I think that's definitely overvalued in the grand scheme of things. But again, this is something that I would say definitely track. So I'm going to track this for $8. I'm going to track it for, how long has this been out? This has been out since 2009. So it has value over 10 years later. So why not track it for 10 years and potentially get notified? And while we're on that topic of notifications, I'm going to go over here to Keepa and see if I have had any recent notifications over the night to see if anything looks interesting here. Okay, it doesn't look like I've had anything. Yeah, I haven't had these ones I've already looked at, so looks like nothing great, but let's go. AJ watching from Los Angeles. Good morning. Let's go. You're up here early in the morning. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. All right, so let's head on over, or actually we're still on this one Flipmine filter. So let's see if there's anything else. This Flipmine filter, by the way, is just set with a $25 profit filter at 2 million or less sales rank. So we're obviously potentially looking at books that might not sell very frequently, but that's okay. And all I'm really doing, just so you know my thought process, is I'm looking at the difference between the eBay price and the inferred lowest offer that Amazon is, or Flipmine is bringing back for Amazon. And the idea being that if the eBay price is significantly less than what the lowest used price on Amazon is, potentially that is a good deal. However, know that this is called Flipmine, and you got to mine this, which means not everything you see is going to be great. And that's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing because most people are not willing to put in the work to have to mine a little bit and try to find things that are good. So right now, anything that has a difference between those prices, I'm going to go ahead and open up and we'll see if there's potentially anything there. So 16 bucks for this book, you can buy it for $2 on Amazon. So maybe it's a potential Amazon flip. And you know, it has sold upwards of 30 before, but generally this doesn't have much value. You expand the data, right? You always want to expand the data, especially for books that aren't textbooks, because you want to know historically what have they sold for. Between 2015 and 2020, this thing was worth like $2. So no, that doesn't have any value in my opinion. So let's keep going. A dictionary of musical themes, you can pick this up for about 32. You can see that the used price is right around 12. So this is actually slightly undervalued on Amazon because right now you can pick this up for about 16 bucks with free shipping. So let's put in 1632 here. And then let's scroll down to see what this keepa graph looks like. It's pretty stable right around 20. It did dip for like a moment right around $3 or $4. That could have been potential for you to have tracked this book. And it looks like one person is tracking this book. Let's see if any of these. So this person actually sold theirs in the buy box for $59.95. So there is actually real evidence that someone has been able to sell it prime in the buy box for 60. And while I think that definitely is a little bit of inflated buy box, I think it's not super unreasonable considering that the lowest used price is right around 30 for the last year. And this is something that again ebbs and flows in price. Let's see if we can identify kind of a period of time where it sold for the most. Probably, well, that's about 38. Let's go. So I'm just trying to zoom in. I'm just left clicking with my mouse and dragging, and that's allowing me to see the keepa graph a little bit better. So yeah, I mean, this looks like it generally holds around $20 in value. So I'd say this is maybe a little bit, not on eBay here, but on Amazon, it's actually a little bit undervalued. So you could potentially flip this. I mean, right now the buy box is $44. So, and then you have one at 48 and 49. So if you had to compete at 44, there's still a potential profit of $10. So I would say, I would bet if you pick this up, you would make money, but I'm not going to pick it up, but I will actually track this. I'll track it for like $6 because I think this would be great at $6. Let's see, $17 for this mouse book. It looks like you can actually buy it new for 20. So I highly doubt that it's gonna be worth picking up. Yeah, and you look at the keepa graph, basically has no value. Like the used price is right around $2. So clearly that's not something that's good. $5.59 for this book. It looks like the buy box is 24 and you come down again, same thing. This has seen a little bit of an increase in price, but again, it's right around $2. This is a normal book that you would see every day that just doesn't really have much value. And lastly, let's go here. Same thing with this book. Flat line right at the bottom, right around $5 or $6. Definitely not something we want to pick up. So let's just keep going through here. Let's see if there's anything quickly that stands out, and then we'll go from there. Scan with my eyes. One look at that book. I know I've sold this book in the past before, so that could potentially be good. Let's look at these 3 books, and then we're gonna head over to Amazon to see if we can find any flips on Amazon. You can see that my offer was declined for that last book we sent an offer for, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. Okay, look how crazy this book is, everyone. This is We the People. This is the power of textbook season. Last August, last September, look at the used offer count. We started at 43. So again, the used offer count is down here at the bottom graph. And the used offer count started slowly decreasing as we enter textbook season. Textbook season is the point in time where students go back to school, which is usually like early August to mid-September. And the used offers just went down on this like crazy, all the way down to about 0. And you can see that the lowest used offers went up like crazy. So some of these sales were probably up there at a pretty high. Like this was a sale at 65, which is significantly more than what you could have paid for in the past. The question is that pattern repeatable? And for this book, it actually looks like it is somewhat repeatable. This was 2021 August, where used price was right around $3 and went right up to about 30. And we can go back a little bit more, August as well, up to 34. So this is definitely a book that has this textbook seasonality. So there is some potential to buy it in the off season when it's cheap. But one thing I will caution you is look how the used count, even though it ebbs and flows over time, it's overall going up. So you can see that today the used offer count is higher than it has ever been in the past, and that's bad news. And you also have this newer edition come out. So yes, you could try to do this again, although I think this is probably not going to end up good for you. So this is something that I'd stay away from, but this is something I'm going to save because in my keepa course that I'm making, I want to show people examples of textbook season. So I'm going to go and show them that. His Spacebook, 14 bucks over here on Amazon. Okay, this is I think this is going to be a good book right here, and here's why. This came out in 1999. This is super niche, sailplane design. Like, who needs this book? Obviously, not the everyday Joe, not the everyday Joji, but 1999. This book came out a while ago. It doesn't look like there's a newer edition, and does it even have an edition on it? I don't even see an edition anywhere on it. So this could totally be such a niche book that it's like one of this is being made. And you can see in the recent past, like this sold for 92, 90, 90, sold for 83, sold a couple times for 45, sold once for 30, and then now it's down to about 1644. So it looks like we're in a little bit of a repricing war right now. And the use offer count is a little bit up, although it's coming back down a little bit. Let's look at the grand scheme of things. It looks like this book was selling pretty reliably for right around like 45 to 50 bucks, even up to a couple of years ago. But that's partly due to the fact that there are new offers in stock, right around about $47. So what that tells me is, because it looks like there's probably only one or two, there's 3 new sellers that are really high. This I think has great potential, because I think worst case scenario, you sell this book for like 45 bucks. So I'm definitely gonna go and count this book, because this is something that I would buy as long as the offers look good. So it looks like you have one at 1484, one at 15, and 2 at 1644. So if we were to pick up just this one copy at 1484, honestly, if I were to send this in, I probably would list it with my min price on my repricer right around like 50 bucks, and I'd be 100% ROI there. I think that'd be totally reasonable to sell this book for 50. And then I put my max price up there at probably about 95, which is what it has sold for in the past. And if it were to sell there, it'd be incredibly profitable. Now, the thing about this book is that there are 3 offers that are really low, and inherently this is actually 4 total copies that are really low. Inherently, this is something that is very niche. It doesn't move very often. So one thing that could potentially happen is that this repricing war can continue. And so you might want to actually set a repricer. Like, you might set a tracker maybe around $10, because if the price of this book keeps going down because there aren't very many people buying it, because there's not many people looking at it, and these 3 people are having really aggressive repricers, then it is possible that all these copies can get to about 10 bucks. At which case, if you could pick up 10 copies for 10 bucks each, it might be best just to buy all 4 of them, because if you're all in for 4 copies at 45, you really only need to sell 1 copy to make your money back. So what I will say is that I think this is a potential deal. I think probably realistically this will sell for, like, if I had to guess, I would bet this would sell for like $59.99 prime. So I'm gonna go and say that's the first $25 profit that we made so far. I like that a lot. Rosemary says, on the We the People book, selling up is saying it's private label. Is that an automatic do not purchase? Yeah, there's really not any private label for books. That's going to be for normal online arbitrage products. So you don't have to worry about that. My understanding is that Seller Amp, those little badges that show up there, they're actually not very accurate. Like, in some ways, I'm not even sure why they really show up. Like all these alerts, so there aren't any alerts here. But for books specifically, yeah, if it's just private label, I just ignore those. What you'd really want to do is look at the offer counts, and you just want to make sure that the offer counts are going up and down, because that would indicate new sellers are coming on the listing, and then sellers are also probably going off the listing by selling it when the used offer drops. So yeah, I would say that doesn't really apply. So I would not look at that. $12 for this manual here. Yeah, here's what I mean. So I've sold this book multiple times in the past. You know, back in 2017, 2018, like a lot of these sales were when I was in college. So, you know, I picked this book up probably like at least 5 times at UC San Diego, and I was flipping this. So I was picking this up for probably 10, 15 bucks and flipping it for $60 to $70. Now, you can see that in the last year, this has sold a handful of times for right around 50, and then the used price again has gone down pretty significantly as this used offer count has gone up. And that makes sense for books that don't sell very frequently. When you add a lot more offers, it makes sense that everyone wants to get the sale, so they become more competitive and that price goes down. And, you know, one key indicator of a repricing war is when you see this downward staircase, almost like a staircase you'd walk down, because the repricers every so often are repricing against each other. And so now you're at a point where this could be profitable, right? $2, and let's see, you'd be out the door for $6.88, which is, and there's a lot of copies that are really low. Guess what matters more now, kind of what the prime offers are at. And it looks like there's one at 17, Next textbook season, that's going to fly off the shelf. That's going to be the first one to go, and then it goes up to 74, and then it goes up to 130. So those probably a little bit overvalued. There are a lot of copies right now, so if you were to pick one up for about, I don't know, let's just say it was $7.85, this is something that you could turn around and try to sell for $35, and I think you could make some pretty good money on that, considering that the history of this book over time has been pretty good. Let's see what we got. So you're welcome, Rosemary. All right. There's a book placed near my house with thousands of books that are $1 to $4 max. I went there and it's filled with greens. Owner said nobody has ever scammed but me. Do I gatekeep from friends? Oh man, that's hilarious. Dude, that's your honey hole. You got to keep that honey hole, especially if it's a local honey hole. You got to keep that intact, I think, for as long as you can, man. That's hilarious though. I'm curious, is it just so it's just their thrift store that these are books that are out like for the public, or did you go ahead and you developed a relationship with them, you got backroom access? But that's awesome. I mean, I honestly would probably keep it a honey hole if it were me. AJ says, how to engage from McGraw-Hill. So if you want to engage from McGraw-Hill, what you got to do is you got to go to McGraw-Hill Education's website, and you have to buy 10 units. Let me go ahead and actually screen share so you can see this. So you got to go to McGraw-Hill's website, and so McGraw-Hill Education, and then you got to find the cheapest book possible. So let's see if there's a way to easily do that. I don't have the book that I bought off the top of my head here, but let's go to pre-K through 12. Let's search the ISBN. Let's see, how do we do this? So basically we want to find, maybe we browse by subject. Let's go to the subject that we think is probably going to be the cheapest. Maybe language arts is pretty cheap. Let's see. And okay, I don't know. Why can't we find products? Maybe we got to go to the higher ed, browse by discipline. Okay, there we go. Browse by discipline. Let's try to find something that looks like it'd be cheap. And that's the idea, is you want to find the cheapest thing available, and you want to buy 10 units of that. And then you have to submit an invoice. So I don't know. Let's go student success. And then it says search by categories. Let's see. Okay, so these are all published this one was published in 2006, so I wonder what the price of this is. All right, $61. That's super expensive. But the point is, you got to go to this website and you got to buy 10 copies of a book. And I know that there are some really cheap things on here. So if you want to just send me a DM on Instagram behind the scenes, I'd be happy to send you the exact book that I bought. I just don't exactly remember what the book was, but that's how I did it. Okay, so Mary says, I got engaged in McGraw-Hill, but now it seems like most of these textbooks come up unavailable. Yeah, so what you have to realize here, Mary, is that McGraw-Hill has multiple categories for textbooks. Like they have McGraw-Hill branded. There's like 2 or 3 different McGraw-Hill sort of like restrictions, I should say. So you got engaged in McGraw-Hill Education, which is going to open up probably like 60 to 70% of McGraw-Hill, but there's still going to be McGraw-Hill books that are in the restricted, the popular textbook category, and those are books that are highly likely to be counterfeited, and those are books that Amazon does not accept applications on. So going back to AJ, getting ungated in McGraw-Hill, you're only going to be able to sell probably 70% of McGraw-Hill, which is still insane because there's tons of McGraw-Hill books out there that are worth a lot of money. But the popular textbooks that are highly likely to be counterfeit, you're not going to be able to sell those, so you're going to have to move on for those. Christian Bookstore also sells McGraw-Hill, but I haven't tried. That's actually really interesting, and I don't know. Yeah, you need 10 of the same book there, AJ. So you basically need 10 of the same book. You're going to get an invoice, and what you need to do is go over to Amazon, find any McGraw-Hill listing that allows you to request approval on. You're going to click request approval. You're going to go ahead and submit the invoice. And you're also, in my opinion, what you should do is take a picture of the box, take a picture of the packing slip, take a picture of the product so that you can upload those pictures with the invoice and then submit the application. And you might have to wait like 6 days or so for you to be able to see that. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's get back to some live sourcing. Good questions, everyone. Yeah, getting on gated in McGraw-Hill honestly was insane for me. Like I had tons of McGraw-Hill books that I had sitting on my shelf. I literally would have paid somebody $500 for a McGraw-Hill ungate. So that's what I would have been willing to pay for it to get ungated, and hope you find value in that. All right, let's see if there's anything else that looks good here. And then we're going to head over to just doing some normal Amazon to Amazon flips, which is what I absolutely love to do. $21 for this ladies man book. You can buy it for as low as $6. So this is a potential Amazon flip. And actually, this is really interesting. about 3 or 4 or 5 sales around $30, and then it actually has come down a bit. But the used offers have stayed the same. So like the used offer count, I mean, which is good news. This is a kind of book that's been out since 1984. You want to look way back later. You want to expand the data to see what has it been selling for to establish a sort of like baseline price. And I'd say this baseline price is maybe right around $15. At times it has been really cheap. It's been down to a penny, but it's also been up to $30 as well. And it looks like the highest it's ever sold for is probably right here, right around like 50 to $60. So I would say right around $7. If this is free shipping included, it's probably a good deal. I mean, it's upwards of $10. So it looks like you got a couple copies around 10, 11, then it shoots back up. But the buy box is at $50. Might be a little bit inflated, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if anyone sold it. And looks like this person sold theirs for $29.69. But if you were to buy this for right around $10, and if you just moved it for what these copies had sold for here, right around 32, you'd be profitable. You're making $8. I would say, this is not a book that I would say is terribly undervalued, but there is definitely potential there. I'm not sure if I would waste tracking that book either, but that's what there's potential. Not Dead Yet said it's a warehouse that a local librarian told me about. Owner opened about a year ago and it's only books and CDs. I started selling 2 months ago and I have 450 books. Yeah, I would definitely keep that as my own honey hole. That's awesome. Christian book works too. I didn't even know that. I know Christian books works for DVDs and CDs. I didn't know that worked for McGraw-Hill. That's great. I know that the book that I bought on McGraw-Hill, I think it was like $4.50 per book. So you're all in for about $45 and then you have to pay shipping. So I'm wondering if it's cheaper on Christian books. Oh yeah, so Christian, you can get the $6 algebra books work. So it's up to you. You can pay $6 per book on this site, or you can buy it $4.50 on McGraw-Hill. But either way, it's insanely profitable. Please screen share. Sorry, Chris, was it not screen sharing? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. That's my bad. Let's see. If you get on Gated McGraw-Hill or Pearson, and you are still gated in a textbook from that company, move on. The chances are high that it's counterfeit. Yeah. A lot of the like Cengage Pearson books and even a lot of the McGraw-Hill books are very likely to be counterfeited. So, you want to stay away from those as well, or for sure. Okay. That last book we looked at, it wasn't super impressive. You could have potentially made a little bit of money on it, but let's move on. This is a book that I don't know why Flipmine's probably bringing this book back because the used price was $123. It's probably why I brought this book back. So that's why, this is $65 plus $4 shipping. Right now, you can buy it for basically that price for almost new condition. So we're going to move on from there and we're going to keep going. And let's see what we got. Yeah, Christian Books does sell homeschool stuff for sure. Amazon has had a number of problems with that copy being, or Amazon has had a lot of issues with that being counterfeit. Yeah, 100%. And let's keep doing some sourcing here. $27, $11 over here on, again, same thing with this book. This might be a little bit undervalued right now on Amazon. You can buy it for $11 plus $4 shipping. So you can get it for about $15. Over the last year, it's been selling for over $25. It's been even selling for upwards of $40. And then recently we kind of had this huge drop off in price. And now we're selling right around $20, probably because is there a new edition? Yeah, there's a newer edition of this that just came out. And then also we just moved out of textbook season. So something that I probably would move on from. It doesn't look super great to me, but let's keep going. Hey, dude, I saw the podcast of the used book guy. Great videos. Interesting learning a little more of your journey. I appreciate you joining. Yeah, it's really fun to talk about my journey. I feel like in a lot of the videos on YouTube, it's not really possible to do that because obviously people are there for the value, which they should be. But yeah, it's really fun to do that. By the way, I was able to interview a couple of really cool people, and they're going to be on my channel here somewhat shortly. I'm going to be posting those videos, but I was able to interview both Warner Fields and also Reezy Resale. So that was both of those guys are absolutely insane. I was super excited to be able to do that. So those videos are going to be coming out shortly on the channel. So, and also Mike, the used book guy, I will be interviewing him sometime, hopefully next week as well. So trying to get these really juicy YouTubers out there that are really just cool guys in general. And I want to go ahead and learn more about their journey as well. All right, so I'm over here in the Keepa Deals page, and this Machinist Bedside Reader book looks like a buy right now. So if you're following and you've been here the whole time, basically we've so far sourced about $25 in profit, and we got about 30 minutes left. I've been talking to the people a lot and stuff, so I haven't been going full speed. But this book looks like it's probably a buy to me, and the reason why I'd say that is basically this has held some pretty good value over time, and then basically recently this dropped off a cliff in terms of price, which means someone came on the listing at a really cheap price. And generally, I think, this book is really undervalued. So let's see if there's potential to make this, or there's potential to make some money here. So the Machinist Bedside Reader. Let's look at the offers. You can see we go from $19.99 plus $4 shipping. There's actually two copies. There's 24 and 24, and then it goes up to 69. And there is no prime seller on this listing. Considering that this was selling pretty regularly for about 60 bucks, if you come on the listing, like, you're gonna get the buy box. Like this person got the buy box at 86, and they actually moved theirs. They actually moved theirs within like a month, so that's actually pretty impressive. They moved it for 86 bucks. You have this seller still on the listing. They were on the listing for about 60. They went up to 90. Then they actually dropped all the way down to 46. If they just would have been competitive and been a little bit cheaper, they probably would have been able to sell their book as well. But I would say it comes down to the offer. So this is acceptable from Hippo Books, may contain X library markings. So I would definitely buy from Hippo Books because they're generally, in my opinion, they're generally pretty good. Not sure about this one. This is moderate wear, wrinkling, curling, or creasing on cover and spine. May have stickers or residue. Minor to moderate. So, I mean, it doesn't say water damage, which is not bad. So, it says it has a good binding, which is good. So, maybe both these copies, there's potential. I mean, it's not ideal to buy an acceptable copy, but I mean, these came out in 1996. So, again, what my goal here would be to sell this for probably right around like 65 bucks. You'd be making $20 profit. And this book, honestly, for me, moves enough that I'd be happy. I'd pick up both of these copies, and I'd probably send them in both for 65. I'd probably set my min price right around like 50, which would not be super profitable. I'd probably set my max price up to what this person sold theirs at in the buy box, is right around 86. And if you sold yours at 86, then you'd be making potentially a lot more profit. So, like I said, historically, this person did sell theirs at 86. So that's good news. But again, be more conservative. I think 65 is probably what you could sell for. So I'm going to add that being another $20 of profit. And again, if you had two of these copies, it'd be $40 in profit in total. So it'd be up to basically about sourcing $75 in profit so far. But I think that would be a good snag. Ideally, those copies would be in good condition, but that's what it is. All right. So here's a test prep book, something that's very similar. It's held a pretty good use price. Recently actually went up in price, and then today it's gone ahead and dropped back down to about 17. So 17, it looks like it's maybe about half of the value of what this book was selling for in the past. So I think this one is just going to come down to the offers. It looks like is there just one copy? Yeah, there's one copy available at $17.30 plus shipping, so that's good. However, there is a newer edition out, and this newer edition is really cheap right now. And you can buy it in new condition for right around 30. So I'd probably pass on this book. If this dropped down to like $7, I'd be game though. I would definitely pick that book up. That dropped down to about 7. Let's keep going. This looks interesting. This is a Operation Dragoon book. So this has been right now. Look at the new condition of this. Like, this has been available for pretty much $70 almost the whole year, and there's kind of a little bit of a repricing war with the new sellers down to 50, but this has been moving for at least $60 pretty much year round. And then you can see recently we had this big drop off in price down to $21. Someone bought it there, and then you had this big drop in price down to 15, and then now there's been another drop down to 21. So again, this is a book you'd want to track, and look, nobody is tracking this book right now, which is crazy, and that means there's great potential. Like, this book has been out since 2014, and nobody's tracking this book. That's absolutely insane. All right, so again, this is going to be 2 more acceptable copies. This is really interesting. This guy it truly does have unlimited books at 643 books. That's pretty crazy. 643 in stock. So that actually might make me hold up a little bit, but these are both acceptable copies, so I'd probably shy away from those. But I'm still gonna track this for 17 because that book looks interesting to me. I'm gated in this right now, but I'm fairly certain this would be an auto ungate. You just might have to go through the prompt to get ungated, but that's something that could be possible for sure. This book also saw this big dip in price down to about 30 bucks, but there's probably not enough margin there. Let's keep on going. This book has had some good value around 30 to 40 bucks, and then Amazon came back on the listing at $34. Amazon ruined everyone's party here. This book has sold for some pretty good money in the past, upwards of 70 or 80. This designing with plans. So depending on how many copies Amazon has in stock, this could potentially be an Amazon buy. Let's see how many they have in stock. I'm curious. Is it just one, or is it a whole bunch? Let's see if it'll tell us here. Error 9, yeah. So it could be yeah, it says 1,000 plus. So this is definitely a book that will take a while to sell back out, but this is something that holds value. If they had come on the listing, they only had like 1 or 2 copies, I might potentially think about buying it, but I don't know, probably not, considering that the lowest use price has been right around $35. Probably wouldn't make much sense, but that's just an idea there. Let's see if we can find anything else. Clinical jitterbug. Ooh, this is something that we need to track right here. Look back, if we could have bought this back in July, we'd have made out like a bandit. We could have paid 24 cents for this book. Actually, never mind. The lowest use price is right around like 15. I was thinking that it was higher, so never mind. Take that back. Ooh, this looks pretty good to me. So Envision Math 2.0. Look at this book. It's been selling for right around 60, and then you can see this big drop in price down to about 10. And let's go ahead and take a look at it. You can see it's actually no longer available. So someone actually picked this copy up, but this would have been a big score right here. So you can actually see the sales rank just dropped recently. So someone bought it. It's been out since basically yesterday though. So somebody picked up this for a good deal, right around 10 bucks. Let's see who the offer was. So if we go to this data button on Keep, and we go to offers, and we go to historical offers, and we click out of new and we go to used, we should be able to see who that $10 offer was. Let's go and sort by, let's see, how do we sort by? It would have been this copy right here. So this person was actually listed for $73, and then they just dropped their price all the way down to $13.99. That's $10 plus $3.99 shipping. And who is that seller? That seller is HPP Red. So for some reason, HPP Red, not sure why, but they just completely dropped that price super low. So you would have paid $13.99 for that book. So watch this, $13.99. This would take a little while to sell, but I think comfortably this would probably sell for right around 60 bucks. When did this came out? This came out in 2017. So if you would have flipped this for 60, you made $26 profit, which would have been insane on this for sure. Now, it's interesting that HPV Red dropped off like a cliff. What I've noticed is that when sellers tend to do that, they can do that for other for other books as well. So I'm going to do sort of like probably a more advanced level of sourcing here. So what I'm going to do is pull up their storefront, and I'm going to see if I can get their seller ID. So here's the storefront, and they have a ton of products. I actually don't even think, I'm not sure if that is their seller ID there, but what we could do is just open up we'll let that load, but we can just open up a listing that has their seller ID, and then we're going to go from there. We're going to see if we can reverse source their store. Let's see. All right, this book, it has potential. This is a loose leaf for staffing organization. Like, this is a McGraw-Hill book. So this is something that if you're this is something that most people are gated in. You can't sell it, but if you get ungated, now you can sell this book. And you can see that this is basically $20 right now on Amazon. Well, at least it was. Someone already bought it out, but definitely that would have been a great deal as well. So we're a little bit too slow on that. Yeah, it looks like their ID is below their name right there. That's what I was thinking. I couldn't copy it though, which is kind of weird. Okay, let's just go ahead and, can you go product finder within their store like that? I don't think so. No. Okay. So let's go back to that actually. Storefront. So one cool thing is if you pull up someone's storefront, you can see everything about the storefront. So like you can see how many, you can see the categories that they're in. Obviously they're 93% books. There's some mainly books, and then you can see the brand. I mean, brand doesn't really matter too much in books per se, but those are all the different brands, I should say there. Okay, so let's go ahead and let this load up again. Yeah, you can see it's near the bottom. Okay, we'll take a look at that when this loads. Okay, this book looks like a buy to me if it's still available. Let's see if it's even available before we do any keepa analysis. Okay, someone needs to go buy this book right now. This is a super deal. Look at this book. This book has been moving for 25. It's not a super deal. It's a good deal. The reason why I say it's a super deal is because Super Book Deals is selling it. But look at this. This has been moving pretty easily for right around 25 bucks. So I mean, if you came out at 29.99 as a prime offer, that's going to move, I would bet, within a month easily. You can pick this up for 382 plus shipping. So you're picking this up for $7.81. You're making a $6 profit, which is not great. However, I'm thinking 29.99 on this book is worst case scenario. These most recent coffees, this one moved for 42, this one moved for 80. So what I would do is put my min at 29.99 and probably my max at like 59.99. And if you sell it for 59.99, which is 100% possible considering this person sold it for 80, then you'd be super profitable. If you look further back into time as well, this has sold for upwards of 80 bucks. So I might even list mine for a little bit higher there. But what I'll say is that definitely this is an undervalued book. Somebody needs to go buy this, because if someone doesn't buy this book, I'm buying it, because that is an absolute steal right there. That's the kind of books we're looking for. Okay, let's keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and actually, that's part of my profit. So we're at 60. I think we said we're at $65 profit, I think is what we said we're at. I'm going to go ahead and conservatively say I'm selling this for $39.99, because I think I'm going to get a little bit of a prime bump. Again, these most recent sales have been for more than that. If we look in the past, we've had sales upwards of 80. So I think it's realistic to say that I could sell that for $39.99 and we'll add $15 profit. So we just went from 65 now up to 80 bucks. So we got about, we're going to be great on this. So Rosemary says someone bought the train book. People are fast, man. People are fast. But those are the books that we're trying to find there. That was a great book. So let's go back. Let's see. Joji, what am I doing? I'm trying to find the seller ID here. So I know I could probably just find it below, but let's see if I can find HP Red on the listing here. And let's see if we can find him here. So we're trying to do a little bit of reverse sourcing of HPV Red. And the reason why is because they had that really recent drop off in price. And what I've noticed is that, what I've noticed is that when you see a big seller drop their used price on a book very quickly like that it's possible that other books they could have done something similar to. And so you kind of want to pull up their storefront to see if maybe it's possible that there are other books exactly like that. So these are all thrift books right here. Thrift books. No, not there. Okay, so let's just go back to their seller. So HPP Red, it should be in the seller. I mean, is this it? I don't know. This could be it. I don't think that is it though. That could be it. Seller metrics. That doesn't show it. All right. Let's just go into product finder though, and let's see if we can. So I'm gonna go to keepa product finder. So go here, data, go to product finder. Let's see if I just type in this sequence of text. Let's see if it actually brings them up. Okay, it does. So that is a sell ID. So thank you so much, Chris, for letting me know. So you got 60,000 products that they're listing. So the question is, how do we find the books, if there are any other books that saw a big decrease in price? So you kind of have to engineer. You got to think about how this is going to be done. One thing is we know that they don't sell just books. So we're going to want to make sure we filter out everything that's not a book. So under the title, brand, and more, I'm going to go ahead and click books. That goes down to 55,000. And generally, I probably don't want to be buying books that Amazon is on the listing. I'm gonna say that's always true, but let's just try to filter results out. So that'd be 20,400. And now let's see if we can find the book that, let's say currently it's priced somewhere between $0 and $25. So I'm gonna go 0 to 25, but let's say the 30-day average is greater than that. So let's say the 30-day average is $35 and higher. So there's 97 products. Let's see if we can go 45 and higher. 50 products. Let's say 55 and higher. 35 products. All right, let's find products and see if we can find anything with that. Okay, so I'm curious if I open up this listing if HPV Red is the lowest offer. So clearly, over the last 30 days, the average price was 70 or 80 bucks. That's why this was pulled up, and then now it's considerably less than it was. But it was also kind of spiked during that time. So this is probably not necessarily a book we would want to buy. We kind of want to see something that's very consistently flatlined and then has seen a big decrease in price. So that's not necessarily something we look at. But like this is a great example of that as well. Like look how high how highly priced this book was and then just dropped off a cliff here. Actually looks like a new third-party seller came on the listing. Again, though, this has, when it does have excuse me, third-party news sellers on the listing, it's been kind of flatline right around 20. So again, probably something that we don't want there. This is interesting, although it doesn't sell a ton. You can see it's a little bit, maybe a little bit undervalued, but not quite enough. And introduction to. Okay, what about this book? So same thing. This kind of dropped in price a lot. I mean, it's maybe a little bit undervalued. I think we actually already saw that book. We already looked at that. So let's just keep looking to see. I'm just going to go a little bit faster to see if we can find anything. Again, what I was trying to find was just a steep drop off in price from potentially HPP Red. And I wonder if this is them. This could potentially be them. Let's see. Doesn't look like it though. Super book sales. I mean, no, it is 8. So HPP Red is there as well. So who knows who dropped first? It could be HPP Red. It could have been Super book sales, but somebody dropped their price off a cliff from 53 down to about 20. The question is, could you buy it? Well, all these sales are sales right around probably the $55 range. And it looks like the new seller isn't even getting the buy box. So they're actually about $64. So you could probably sell this prime for close to 60 bucks. And you can see this book has been moving for that. Now in the past, it has been cheaper. Like obviously you should have had a tracker set, because if you picked this up for 10 bucks, you'd have been insanely profitable for what it was selling at. And look, that's happened multiple times in the past. So I would say this is something you need to be tracking. Right now, there's only one person tracking it, and it's not me. And look, they happen to be tracking it for right around 10 bucks. So that's somebody who either is pretty smart or they've been listening to Joji and they know what to do. So I'm going to beat them at $10.01 because, why not? $10. But I would say at $20, $24 is what you'd have to pay. It's not going to really probably be a great deal. Like you would probably, like if you sold this for 55, you'd still make a little bit of money, like a 50% ROI. And honestly, you could probably do that. You could probably make money selling that, but I would say it's a little bit risky considering at times you could sell this for a little bit, or you could buy it for a little bit cheaper. So I would set a tracker on this, but let's see if any of these prime offers have moved. And yeah, I mean, look at this. Thrift Books Atlanta, they moved their copy at $58 at the lowest merchant price. Hippo Books is still in stock, so they haven't moved theirs. This person, which is Thrift Books Phoenix, they sold theirs at 57. So I mean, the most recent sales have been moving for that, and the used offer count is historically pretty low right now, which is good news as well. A little bit of an increase recently, but I would say you could probably, I'm not going to count that in the profit, but I bet you could make profit with that book. But that's what I mean. Like we just found HPP Red right there. Here's another example of this book is actively undergoing a repricing war, and you can actually see I have a tracker set at this for 10 bucks. So if this ever gets to 10, then I'm probably get a pop on it. I mean, this has gone up pretty insane in price in the past before. And unfortunately, it didn't get to my repricer last time, but it looks like it potentially could be headed there again. And that could be something that maybe we'd pick up. This Color Atlas book looks really interesting as well. Like look at this repricing war. It's down to about 7 bucks from being up to about 100. It's been as low as 39 in the recent past. And I think I've already seen this one though. I think this has a newer edition coming out. So this is something that I think I also looked at the older edition. I think I looked at the first edition of this, and it basically had no sales rank and it was like super cheap. So I was like, all right, if a newer edition came out, this is starting to sell way less frequently, I probably am just gonna go ahead and skip on that one. But I think you get the idea. There's a way that you can reverse search seller storefronts. And this is actually going to be a really crucial thing once we all get into regular online arbitrage, because some of you know behind the scenes, I'm actually starting to do a little bit of test buying of just traditional online arbitrage products. So I'm going to websites like Walmart, Target, Walgreens, whatever, and trying to find things that are undervalued to flip back on Amazon. So one thing that I want to help everyone do here is I want to help you get really good at just flipping textbooks. And then once you learn the fundamentals of flipping textbooks, I think there's a lot of opportunity after you build some capital to go do some online arbitrage, regular online arbitrage. So I'm trying to get really good at that. I'm still pretty new to that game, but I want to get really good at that and then start teaching people how to do that. This University of Physics book, like it sold for $238. That's insane. And you can see it sold twice here for 90, but otherwise it hasn't really sold. So this is something that if it does sell, it's going to take forever to move. So even though it's at $17, you're going to be gambling with that book because it just doesn't really move much. Same thing with this World of Art book. This is a textbook. This is something I actually would not buy. If you go back in time, it's been way cheaper. Also, it's not really moving. So that's something that I would definitely move. I would not look at. I'd go ahead and move on to the next book. See if there's anything else we can find with this So I'm wondering if all of these are HPP red. Let's see. One thing we can do is go to data, and we can just go to offers, and we can see. So data is this little button up here. We can go to current offers, and it looks like HPP red. So like, see what I mean? HPP red's at $8.99. So that's one way to reverse source these stores when you see one big seller have this big decrease in price. And I've definitely found I definitely snagged some great books doing it like that in the past. Okay, let's go over to Flipmine. Let's see if anything has refreshed over here on Flipmine. And then we're just gonna end it out with a little bit of Q&A because right around 7:30, I'm gonna be getting off, enjoying some time with the family, and let's see if we can find anything here before. So like I said, I think we're about like $90 in profit. So I think we did a pretty good job of doing that, of getting to close to 100 at least. And like I said, I was, in my opinion, being conservative with some of the prices, in my opinion. All right. So here's a book that has been moving for right around $30. You can buy it for $30 on eBay. So not undervalued, like not a super great deal, obviously. So there's that. This actually might be good. $75 for this 2022-2023 subject set. It's going for over 140 right now on Amazon. So I'd say this is actually a really good deal. Even though, so you'd be buying this for 85, but this thing is moving great. Like the sales rank never goes above 300,000. And if you look at these buy box prices that Amazon's awarding these sellers, like people are selling them. Like this person sold theirs at $219.99. So if you sold yours at $219.99, then you're making $80 profit. So the lowest used price is right around 30 or right around 140, which is a little bit more than half the price. But I would say this is probably going to be a solid pickup as well. Like I said, these buy box prices that are being awarded are pretty crazy. I mean, even if you just were more conservative and tried to list it for 175, you make a $40 profit. So there you go. That's over here on Flipmine. That's a good deal. I'm going to buy that if no one else buys that, because I have tons of history selling these Kaplan, these 7-book subject reviews, and a lot of the times they can sell for some pretty good money. All right. Here's a book that you need to track. Like, look at this. This moved for twice for 95. It moved for 150. And then look at this. It went all the way down to $11.21. Like, that's insane. You could have bought it for that. And then these last two sales were right around like 75. Interestingly, the price of this book was actually pretty cheap, right around $30 or so in the past. But clearly, this is something that is very niche. And actually, this looks like, hopefully I don't get demonetized, but there's some nudity on this book. So let's see if I would track this for maybe about like $13. What is the other person tracking it for? It doesn't even say what they're tracking it for, but I think there's potential for that. Let's see what Rosemary says here. Rosemary says, do I know who Jensen Books or Hippo Books are? I've always competed with them. Is it a trade secret? No, I don't know who they are. I'm sure that there are some guys who do know it, like you know, I'm sure there are a few players in the game that do know it, but I don't know who they are. If I did, I would tell you if I knew them, but I do not know them. So all right, let me go ahead and, so for those of you who are here, I do have a couple of things to join if you're interested. Like the first thing that I have is I have a free Discord. So if you want to join the free Discord group, you can go ahead and do that. So let's see if I can get that linked up for you here. And then let's see what else. I also have a newsletter as well. So if you want to get on the newsletter, if you want to get on the Discord, then let's go ahead and let's look at that. I'm gonna paste these in the chat. All right, so I'm gonna go and post in my newsletter here. So I'm thinking of what I'm gonna be doing with this newsletter. I think occasionally I will actually send out a newsletter, but I think more than anything, it's gonna be kind of like an exclusive thing where like once a month or something, I'll send out like, hey, let's do a private meeting behind the scenes. Like you can feel free to join. Like obviously you can only join if you're part of the newsletter and if you're there. Let's see what else. Let me go ahead and get the let me go and get my Discord as well. So go over to YouTube. But what I want to know is how are sales for everyone? How are sales doing? I'd be curious to know. Like right now, it's early March here, so I've seen a little bit of a slowdown in sales. Not sure about you all, but I'm curious, how are sales out there? I'm curious, is anyone picking up books? Like I know some people are picking up books, which is great. That's good to hear. Anyone actually sold any books that they picked up? That's what I'd really like to know. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and post the link to the Discord now. So if you want to join the Discord, there it is there. Rosemary saying, love the Discord group, great questions and answers. Yeah, there's tons of super knowledgeable people in there. I do my best, obviously, as well to answer as many questions as I can. But there are definitely some people in there that are helping each other out. And a lot of people are new, not just like some people are really new just to Amazon in general, selling books, which is great. But then some people are new to the OA book game, which is what I do. Like all the books I buy are through online arbitrage. I do have a series out that's 0 to 1,000 where I go around try to find books on my YouTube channel. But yeah, so sales are better this week. If you're interested in joining the Discord group and you're not in it, feel free to go there. It's absolutely free. Like Rosemary said, a lot of really cool people in there. But yeah, let's go, Chris. Chris says 3,600 this month so far. Let's go, man. Let's see what I'm at. Let me open up my seller central. I'm at 3,700, Chris. So man, we're tagging along like really close to each other. So that's really cool. And again, a lot of what I buy are textbooks. So probably looking at textbook season, August is always going to be a big month for me probably. But yeah, 3,600, pretty good so far. And I am doing quite a bit of buying right now. So hopefully we can see an increase in sales there. I'm curious, anyone out there, is there anyone you'd like to see be interviewed who's in the book game? Like I said, went ahead and so I was able to interview Warner Fields from Fields of Profit. That's going to be dropping on the channel soon, which is awesome. And I was able, actually just yesterday, crazy, interviewed Reezy Resells. And that's also going to be dropping on the channel in a little bit. So probably a week and a half or something. But I'm also going to be getting the used book guy. So Mike, the used book guy on the channel. That's also insane. He's a really cool guy. I'm curious, is there anyone out there you would like to see interviewed who's in the book game? Because I'd love to reach out to them, potentially bring them on. And I think I've got a pretty solid lineup of people. Like, we got Reezy, we got Mike, the used book guy, we got Warner Fields. Like those are pretty big hitters. Obviously massive, like way bigger than I am. So it's insane that I was even able to get them to agree to sit down with me for like 30 or 45 minutes. But if there's anyone out there you'd like to see, let me know. But yeah, I'm thinking back to that newsletter again. If you join the newsletter, I'm thinking I probably will send out something, probably not too often, maybe like once a month or something where I actually type something up. But again, thinking more of like the exclusivity, I think of like sending out an email that says, hey, on this date, let's do a keepa training, or on this date, let's do a private sourcing session, or on this week, let's do just a regular coaching call. That's a group or something like that. Gary says, Caleb Roth, let's go. Honestly, I cold DM'd Caleb like a long time ago. He never responded, understandably, Gary. But one day, believe me, Gary, one day Caleb Roth will be on this channel. I know that he just sold Scout IQ though, and he's living up probably the early retired life. So I don't know if he's going to be in the game for a while, but I guarantee you one day we're going to have Caleb on this channel. So Mark, what's the date? March 11th, 2023. One day we'll have him on. I can guarantee you that. Eric says, sales are a bit better than last month. Still I've been more picky in my sourcing. You're welcome, man. And with 250 items in stock, just hit 800 a month. Not great, but not bad. Definitely not bad at all. That's awesome. Good to see that you're having some success. Ooh, Golden State Pickers in California sources Gaylords of books. That would be a good one. I've never actually, yeah, I need to go watch some more of his videos and start commenting on his videos and add insightful comments, and then maybe somehow add value to him, slide into the DMs, and maybe we can get him on the show. He seems like the kind of guy that might be hard to get a hold of. I don't know why I get that vibe. Maybe I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll see. That'd be cool to get him on the channel. I know my understanding is that he's retired and he's selling stuff on eBay and Amazon. So I know that a lot of people love him. So he'd be a great guest for sure, probably. Roman the Romer. Romer the Romer. Yeah, he'd be good as well. I'm sure Romer would probably come on for sure. I think he would definitely come on, especially after I tell him who I've had before. I think he would come on. And Steve, I haven't asked Steve, but I would bet you Steve would come on as well, because Steve and I behind the scenes are making a VA course right now. So we're making a virtual assistant course to help people get VAs to do this, because I have a couple of VAs right now as well. And so I bet Steve would come on the show. Golden State Picker would be good. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to see him. And I'm excited to do to add sort of some of these interviews to the channel, because I honestly like interviewing people. I think it's really fun. It's good to learn about them. I like to think that I ask decent questions that they would be interested in answering. So I think that'd be really cool. Jensen Books is in Utah. It's a huge bulk bookseller and infamous for having very low prices. Was that ChatGPT? Gary, I gotta know, was that ChatGPT or is that actually you? That first part sounded like you. Jensen Books is in Utah, but that second, that last second half of that second question seems like ChatGPT is infamous for having very low prices on Amazon. That's hilarious, Gary. No, okay, so he didn't do that. But this is what I mean, everyone. Like when you network with people, you get to know things. Like Gary, I've learned a lot from Gary. And here's yet another thing that I learned from Gary, which is that Jensen Books is there. Gary says no. That's awesome, everybody. All right, so this was sourcing $100 in profit with online book arbitrage. I think we very easily did that. Now, obviously, it's not like I have a $100 bill in my hand. Obviously, those books have to be shipped to your house. You have to then go out and list them, and you have to send them to Amazon. Then you have to wait for them to sell. Or if you have a prep center, you have to ship them off to the prep center. They have to ship them to Amazon. Then you have to wait for them to sell. But again, I would say that was easily $100 in I would say conservative potential profit. And if we were to buy those books, I think we would be able to do it for sure. Chris says thanks. No worries. Thanks for being here, Chris. I appreciate you. It'd be cool to bring on library managers and thrift store owners. That would actually be really interesting. And I never even thought about that. I would have to think about how to find them. I probably would have to reach out to them on Facebook or something, or I could go in store. But yeah, I would have to somehow develop a relationship. But that's actually really great. It's a really interesting idea. Have a great weekend. A million thanks. You're welcome. I'm glad you're finding value. You're welcome, Gary. And you're welcome, AJ. All right, everybody. I'm going to go enjoy some time with the family. Thank you so much. And I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye. Have a great one. Cheers, Eric. Have a good weekend. See you later, man. Thanks for coming out, everybody. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.